Hi, it's Eric Bond again. And to finish up our discussion on Ezekiel 26 and go into 27 to 28. In Ezekiel 26, God had had Ezekiel curse Tyre, or Tyrus in the Hebrew, curse him that he was going to bring many nations against him to destroy him. And most notably, the first one that was going to come was Nebuchadnezzar. Nebuchadnezzar destroyed the mainland part of that kingdom, which was Tyre, killed everybody on it. Nebuchadnezzar was a great murderer, and he did his job. He killed everybody in the mainland, but he was unable to breach the island itself. The island had two perfectly sheltered harbors, and had great walls and ramparts, and if you got close to it and it didn't want you there, it could sling stones of probably quarter ton at your boats and sink you right there in its harbor. It was famous for pouring hot sand, boiling hot sand on anybody that tried to breach the walls. So if you tried to breach the wall, you got 200-300 degree sand poured on you, and you died pretty much right there on the spot. Excuse me. So we have God ending Ezekiel 26 by saying, you're going to be gone. You'll never be found anymore. You're going to go into the pit. And we know that Satan goes into the pit for 1,000 years. So he says, you're going to go into the pit, and afterwards people are going to look for you, and they will never find you again. You'll be completely and entirely gone. And in Ezekiel 27, we find the list of items that the nation of Tyre, the island nation of Tyre, was selling. List of items which includes cassia and cinnamon. Cassia is the bark of the cassia tree, which is part of the genus Cinnamomum. The cinnamon that you have in your pantry is likely cassia bark. It's not the actual cinnamon tree itself bark. It's the cassia bark. It's cheaper. It's easier to harvest. It's easier to grow and maintain. Like I say, in Vietnam, they have what's called China cinnamon, which is cassia bark. It is the queen spice. It is what everybody wants. It is the greatest smell of all time. As a matter of fact, God had Moses create an anointing oil that had, among all other things, aloes, myrrhs, and cinnamon. God likes the smell of cinnamon just like you do. You walk past the Cinnabon store in the mall, and you just want to stand there and breathe that cinnamon. As a matter of fact, Nero burnt a whole ship full of cinnamon on purpose so that Rome would smell good for his wife's birthday. Cinnamon has been the queen spice of all recorded history, and it's what the conquistadors and everybody else was trying to find. All these great explorers from Western Europe were trying to find an easier way to get their hands on cinnamon and bring it home, because everybody wants cinnamon. So we find in Ezekiel 27, what quick talk, a list of items that were being bought and sold by Tyre. Satan was the absolute ruler, the de facto on-hand ruler of Tyre. I tell you can search Bing and look for the king of Tyre in and around 700 BC and beyond, and you'll find no name posted whatsoever, because it was Satan, and he's got that all taken care of. So in and about 685 BC, Ezekiel starts these lamentations and these woes on Tyre. Tyre had been going for quite a while, easily into the 700 BCs. This was 685 when Jerusalem had been destroyed, and Tyre was gloating over the destruction of Jerusalem like it was a big deal. Ezekiel is ordered to start talking about Tyre, and he does. Nebuchadnezzar came in the 560 to 570 BC range and was unable to put him out of business. Tyre kept going until 300 and I think it was 323 BC, which was destroyed by Alexander the Great. Nonetheless, Alexander the Great breached the main island, destroyed it, scraped it like the top of a rock, sold 30,000 of its inhabitants into slavery, and killed the rest. Alexander the Great was notorious for his lamentation. Alexander's lamentation was, "There's no one left to kill." He was perhaps the greatest killer of all time. He pretty much destroyed Darius the third or fourth within about a 48-hour period. The Greeks were great. They had a catapult that could shoot 24 to 36 arrows at a time. So when you came on the field against Alexander's army, he would rain. It would literally darken the sky. He would rain arrows on you to the tune of 10 to 20,000 arrows at a time. In a whole campaign, he might use 1,000,000 arrows raining down on you. You simply couldn't take the onslaught. By the time the arrows were done and Alexander was done, all that was done was just mopping up and taking what goods you had in stores, any iron or steel, bronzes. You would take all that, any money that you had, and move on. Darius paid him for over £1,000,000 in gold to ransom his family, to keep Alexander the Great from selling him into slavery. He was that good. He's the one that, like I say, excuse me, in 323 BC, finally destroyed the island Tyre. Now, that's another 250 years after the first lamentation was posted by Ezekiel, another 250 years of doing business. Now, think about this. What was Satan doing? If you look in Daniel, Daniel says that the vile person will show up peacefully and prosperously. He undoubtedly has caches of gold, probably knows where every sunken galleon filled with gold is, because he would obviously have, some of his minions, probably, with the conquistadors, shooting all that gold back into Rome. Rome has basketball-sized warehouses filled with solid gold crosses. When Antichrist shows up, he will have all the money, he will have all the gold and silver that he wants to buy everyone off. And that's exactly what he's going to do. He's been in business ever since the Great East Indian Company of Great Britain back in the early 1600s. Just moved everything into New York. New York is the hub of all commodity trading, that and in Chicago. If you want to buy wheat, you have to buy it from one of the middlemen in Chicago, where you can't buy virtually any commodities whatsoever anymore. So his people have been scraping profits on the commodities for hundreds of years. Based in New York, they're doing it right now. And when it all falls down, the stone will be hitting in New York, because that's the hub of the commodities trading. I'll have more to say this. It goes into Revelation 19. I'll tie it all together in subsequent discussions. I hope you're having a great day. We'll talk some more. And thanks.